Let's get some more analysis with Ben Marguiles. He's a specialist in politics and international studies at the University of Warwick. Hello there, Ben. Now, look, for the first time in living memory, lots of Democrats are not going to turn up to this inauguration. Ratings are unusually low for a president-elect. This is a country deeply polarised, isn't it?
Yes, and it has been for some time. I think for a variety of reasons, this polarization, we're seeing a peak of a process of division, of polarization that has been evident for perhaps the last 20 years and has become more acute due to the changes in demographics, income distribution, districting, and so on. So Trump really does face, although Trump is in fact the leader of a party that controls most government institutions, his base is much weaker even than that of George W. Bush in a country that is highly divided and in some ways rather tense.
Well, Trump's nominees are having a particularly tough time of it, aren't they, in the Senate? So how ready do you think his administration is?
The evidence that's coming out in the press in the last several days suggests that it's not especially ready, that he hasn't filled a lot of posts that we would have expected him to fill at this point, that his administration, his transition team is not very well organized, that many of his nominees are not very up to date, not very well informed about the portfolios they're about to assume. Given that Trump is a populist, populists in general are not very respectful of institutions, and conservatives don't like much of what government does. So in some ways, this isn't entirely surprising, but he's certainly less prepared to take over the reins of government, the operations of government as they exist now in comparison to, say, where Obama or even George W. Bush were at this point 8 and 16 years ago.
Now, defence, foreign policy, they're going to be important in this term, aren't they? The New York Times is reporting that some of Trump's team don't have the necessary security clearance. So what do you make of it all? Again,
I mean, it's a combination of the factors, partly, and you've seen this throughout Trump's campaign, he's not very good at running big institutions. Populists generally don't care much about institutions as a matter of ideology. You know, they're the direct voice of the people, unmediated. Elites are corrupt. So they don't care as much for expertise as we've seen. Trump's own organization, though a fairly large business, was also a family business without a lot of, you know, really clear lines of control. It wasn't a big institution. It was more of a family business. So again, it's not that surprising that he'd have trouble or be less assiduous about filling these sorts of very formal roles that require a lot of specialized expertise. There's also the fact that the Republican establishment, a lot of the people that the Republicans would normally go to for foreign policy experience, explicitly rejected Trump during the campaign, and Trump won't speak with them. There's some talk about that, or they won't go to him. So he is, between his own predilections for the way he runs things and Republican establishment resistance, he doesn't have a lot of the people you would expect coming into his foreign relations and defense agencies, his apparatus. And that may cause him problems in the future. I mean, we don't really know yet, but
it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, isn't it? Well, Ben Marguiles from Warwick University, thank you very much.